Okay. So on Monday, we had talked about three different incidents involving car attacks and vehicular homicides with three very different legal paths, legal angles that are going on. On Wednesday, we learned disturbing new details about the death of Joseph Bover, 55. South Dakota District Attorney Jason Ravensborg struck Bover with his car. He called the local sheriff after it happened. Tow truck came. Uh, and he got a ride home. It's all good. 15 hours later, he claims he goes back to move the deer carcass off of the road. But now that we've learned some details, Jennifer, it's like, well, wait a minute. The sheriff and the tow truck was there and nobody removed the deer carcass off the road then. So there's already a big gaping hole in his story. He claims when he went out there hours later, it's when he found the body of Bover. Bover had been walking to his pickup truck, which was broken down on the side of the road, in an attempt to repair it. South Dakota governor and Republican troglodyte Kristi Noem ordered the police interviews of Ravensborg released. And in the videos, police asked him, "Hey, do you normally wear glasses?" He's like, "No, I don't. I don't wear glasses." They're like, "Okay, okay. Were you messing with your phone?" "Oh, no, wasn't touching with my phone. No, 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 no." Then they interviewed him a second time, and in the second interview, they're like, "You sure you don't wear glasses?" He's like, "No, I definitely don't wear glasses. I just wear sunglasses." And they go, "Well, that's really something." Because guess what, Jennifer? They found Joseph Bover's glasses in Ravensborg car. You know how they got there? Because Bover's face went through the windshield so far that his glasses got ejected into the car. But it's okay because the district attorney says, "Well, I thought I hit a deer." The other thing that the police confronted him with is, "We actually pulled your cell phone records and you were checking email and reading news headlines right before you hit this guy." So the long story short is, if this was you, me, or almost anybody else, you would be looking at felony charges. But when you're the district attorney of the state of South Dakota, and it's starting to look like the local sheriff did you a solid on the side of the road, you face three misdemeanor charges. Jennifer, it gets even worse. The governor has asked him to resign, and Ravensborg is pulling from a page of Donald Trump going, "Smoke you, I'm not going to do that." And so now he is facing impeachment, ironically, in the state of South Dakota. So that's our update on story number one. It is just so flipping
Wow.
gross.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting and insane. Um, yeah, I have no words for that one. How could you? I don't even understand, like, when you have somebody's glasses fly into your car because you've hit them so hard, how you even come up with that excuse on the spot that you hit a deer. Like, how does that even go through your mind rather than calling for help or something? You're just like, oh, I hit a deer. I'm going to go back in a little while and see what happened. So,
Uh, apparently, Bover had a flashlight, a very bright flashlight, and when the police came out over 15 hours later, the flashlight was still working. And the police were like, "You didn't see his flashlight out like in the ditch?" And he's like, "No." And part of the things that investigators said they were stymied is that there was a police officer there and a tow truck driver there, and none of them said that they saw the flashlight either. North Dakota police are the ones who investigated this because of the position of the district attorney. And investigators in North Dakota are kind of like, this whole thing just smells like BS, but
mhm.
this is what we've got to work with.
Yeah, Ravensburg sounds like a bit of a sociopath.
Good values from the party of personal accountability going on there.
Yes, absolutely. Law and order. Law and order. Okay,
Yeah,
we're
you're
moving on.
next. Go for it.
Story two. Manny Ellis spoke his last words, quote, "I can't breathe, sir," end quote, 357 days ago today. State officials said this week that a decision on whether any Tacoma police officers of Pierce County sheriff deputies will face charges won't come until April. After months of investigation, and an over 2,000-page report, State Attorney General Bob Ferguson says they are continuing to interview witnesses and work with, quote, experts in the case. Speaking through their attorney, Manny Ellis's family believes the investigation is complete as it stands and are calling for charges to be filed. Manny Ellis died from a lack of oxygen, from physical restraint, positioning, and the placement of a spit mask over his face. But the report also added, quote, it is unlikely that this death would have occurred due to physical restraint alone without the contributing conditions. 357 days ago. It does not feel that long ago, does it?
No, it doesn't feel that long ago. I actually would have thought this incident, had we not been tracking it, I would have thought this incident had happened in more towards late March. I knew March was when this had happened, but yeah, it's going to be a year basically in about 10 more days. And as you read in the story, officials are saying we're not going to have an answer until April. You know, when it comes to these investigations of police officers, my experience as somebody who has followed these stories is not convictions, but arraignments and charges come fast, and punt formation comes slow.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just so interesting, you know, how quickly, I don't know. I feel like you look at things sometimes and how quickly charges come down and, you know, issues are looked at, taken care of, resolved, whatever, and then how much longer it takes for issues like these to even, you know, to even have the kind of attention that they even moderately deserve. And I think it's just all goes back to this question of accountability and the ways in which they can either put off or escape accountability through kind of like dragging this out and hoping that people will forget about it and lose the degree of anger that they had over the initial death.
Yeah, and one of the things that's particularly gross about this case is that it was originally positioned very differently by the police. Yeah. And then after George Floyd, citizens started coming forward. There were 2 cell phone videos that came forward, and then there's the video from the Ring camera that is pointing right across at all of this incident. And those 3 videos completely torpedoed Pierce County and Tacoma's version of the story. And one of the things that this investigation that the Washington State Patrol did, that they finished their report on New Year's Eve, concluded that there was another police officer there that, oops, we left that off the report. And there was a Pierce County Sheriff deputy there. And oops, we left that off the report too. And Pierce County was the jurisdiction that was originally investigating this case against the city of Tacoma.
Yeah, omissions don't make you look innocent. You know?
No, they don't.
Like omissions make you look like you're trying to hide something.
Like those glasses on the floorboards.
Yes. Yes.
Don't know how those glasses got there.
Me either.
Nope.
Either.
All right, our next story. These are all stories that we've been following, and we said we would give you updates. And so here's another story that we're updating tonight. Tomorrow will mark the anniversary of the first confirmed COVID death in the United States. Now, the death happened on February 26th. It wasn't reported until February 29th. I know somebody out there is going to get pedantic and go, no, it was the 29th. Death happened the 26th, wasn't reported until the 29th. So tonight represents a full year since the first confirmed COVID death. And I know some other people get pedantic and go, well, but they think there were some COVID deaths that happened, but they're not. They're like asterisks, not so. Don't get pedantic, please. 508,000 Americans have died in the last year. We are the leading nation in the world by almost any metric on people who have died from COVID. There's another 2,000 are dying every day. The number of new cases, new hospitalizations, and deaths are all in sharp decline. And there's a combination of reasons of why that is. The United States is actually getting a lot better at wearing masks. Part of the reason we're getting a lot better at wearing a mask, with 508,000 people that have died and counting, more and more people that are like, you can't make me wear a mask, are being directly impacted. Either they've lost a loved one, or they become sickened themselves, or someone in their household has become sickened. And all of a sudden it became a lot more real for them when they were starting to see the impacts in their communities. The next thing is it's estimated about 25% of Americans have had COVID at this point. We're never going to know the full number because the prior administration never got a significant testing program ramped up in this country compared to others. And we have about 13% of Americans who have been vaccinated for COVID.
Yeah.
We also reported on Monday about how the South African variant of COVID was found in Idaho. And one of the things that I had said, if it's in Idaho, it's in Eastern Washington. And if it's in Eastern Washington, it's almost assuredly in King County, and it's just a matter of time before we find out. Wow, I was like prophetic with those words because 12 hours later, we found out that the South African variant of COVID is in King County. But wait, there's more. The test was done on January 29th. So we're finding out almost a month later that the South African variant is in King County, and they can't find the person. Jennifer, they can't find the person, so they don't know who they came in contact with. They don't know if they traveled outside of the country or not, and they don't know who they were in contact with otherwise. So congratulations, King County. We have community spread of the South African variant, which the Pfizer is resistant to the Pfizer vaccine. It is resistant to treatment. And it targets younger adults and makes them sicker. And it's also about 50 to 70% more contagious on a disease that is already infinitely more contagious than the flu, because that's why we don't have any flu right now. Anyway, that's the good news that we have on the COVID front. Are we making progress? We are making progress. Are we still screwing this up as a society? We are still so screwing this up as a society.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the big worry, I think, about the South African virus, too, is the push to reopen schools. And also, the UW campus has been notoriously bad about having students gathering in unsafe ways, parties. We talked last week about how, a lot of the students that attended a party on Greek Road during the snow are now being forced to quarantine. And then also not allowed to go to the in-person classes that are being held on campus that they might have attended. So yeah, I don't know. This is not boding well. All right. On to story 4.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We've been following the 2, no 4, no 5, wait, 6 officers from the Seattle Police Department who were in Washington, D.C. for the Overthrow the Government Day. Today, through Freedom of Information requests, we were going to learn the names of 4 of them and get confirmation on 2 others. A judge today put the smackdown on that idea until March 10th, keeping the names of those sworn to protect and serve the people out of sight from the people. On March 10th, the matter will be decided, and for now, legal watchers consider this a temporary victory, and we'll keep following the story. And I actually added this into the insurrection update. So remind one of us, whoever gets it, not to read it. But yeah, they're pushing to keep this information locked down permanently.
Yeah. Again, what are they hiding?
Yeah, these are public servants.
We don't want to put their names out there because we don't want them getting hate mail and stuff. That was like one of the excuses. By the way, Mike Solon got to walk on doxing me back on September 7th. The case is closed with no action. So nice double standard, OPA and courts. Yeah. Just putting it out there, calling it as I see it. All right, story number 5. You remember Eric Whitehead? He was the Seattle police officer who refused to wear a mask at an area hospital. They had to get a nursing supervisor at one point to get him to comply. Do you remember this guy? Remember how the Seattle Police Department made a quick statement the same weekend that it happened, that there would be an investigation and that OPA opened up a case? Remember how they said this investigation would go quick and that we would know about a decision quickly? Remember how the Seattle police told us that the video from the security cameras that they had from within the hospital actually makes the incident look a lot worse than what the nurse articulated about the incident? You remember all that? That was 40 days ago. 40. Jennifer, they have a strange definition of a fast investigation down at OPA and with Mr. Meyerberg down there.
That is insane that it's been 40 days since we reported on it. So it's probably like 35 since we reported on it because we reported on it shortly after it happened. And that there's still been no, like, I don't know, repercussions, deepening investigation, consequences for, his actions. These guys, men and women, people who are sworn to protect and serve, that are consistently going out and not receiving any consequences for their actions, is only going to embolden them to continue this kind of behavior. Like, I can't, yeah. Yep.
I wish we had some good. We do have good news, by the way, malcontents. This is not an hour bitch session tonight. We do have some good news and fun stories.
We do. Yes. All right. So story 6. This is not good news or a fun story, David. All right. It's been 117 days since Black Coffee Northwest was firebombed. About a month since the video of the attack was released, and still nothing. Now, if King County Sheriff investigators were as aggressive on this case as a broken window at Starbucks, we might actually be somewhere.
Yeah, we actually might have some progress on this one. 117 days. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
I mean, that basically sums it up. All right. This is the last story that we're updating. Remember, we told you we're going to be keeping tabs on Joe Biden, the Biden administration, and their promise to do 100 million vaccinations. Then he moved the goalpost when people said that the goalposts where that was too easy. So he did move it to 150 million in the first 100 days. And we said on day one when he announced this, we were on the air that same day he announced it, that we were going to hold his feet to the fire on that. Well, we have an update. We're 42 days in. They have done 50 million doses in 42 days. So if you do the math, for 100 million, the original goal, they're going to do it with time to spare at the current pace. At the 150 million goal, they're falling behind. However, not making excuses, the massive weather event that we had in the center part of the country and some of our most populated states did slow some of the numbers down last week. The nation also lost tens of thousands of doses that spoiled when Texas regulators decided that we don't have to winterize the grid, even while we were told to do it all the way back in 2011, and the power system shit the bed across the state. Now, it isn't all good news, although a lot of it is good news. For example, there's stories like out in Los Angeles, where Los Angeles were given codes, especially people that lived in lower income and vulnerable neighborhoods. They were given special code that they could go to a special vaccination site just for them. Well, guess what happened? The codes leaked out to the elite and the wealthy of Los Angeles, who are now going with for the codes that were meant for the people that clean their houses, cook their meals, clean their pools, and manicure their yards. Yeah, so they're actually taking the shots from the people that work for them because they got the codes. Do better, America. I thought we were better than this.
Yay, capitalism.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go ahead and do a little pause for the cause, and the mood's going to get a little better, I promise. Hi, Malcontents. I'm David, the Malcontent, and I'd like to talk to you for a moment about supporting independent media. When you support us, you help us bring the before, during, and after. You help us defend the First Amendment. You help us amplify BIPOC and LGBTQIA voices, and you help us hold leaderships at a local, state, and federal level accountable. None of this would be possible without support by viewers just like you. When you become a patron for as little as $5 a month, You help buy technology, safety equipment, and help cover travel expenses so that we can continue to bring you news that you trust. If you can't become a patron, you can do a one-time donation on Venmo, and your dollars will go to the exact same causes. With your continued support, we can continue to amplify BIPOC and LGBTQIA voices while showing the truth on what is happening in the world around us. Once again, thank you.